Cervical cancer is one of the most common cancer in Indian women, and there are almost average 1 lakh cases per year, and 78,000 women die per year because of the burden of cervical cancer, which means that every 8 minutes one woman dies because of cervical cancer. And the fact is, it is a preventable disease, which really makes it a sorry figure. And there are primary prevention methods and secondary prevention methods. Hi, I'm Dr. Usha Bohra, Head of the Department Obs and Gynae, Apollo Hospital, Ahmedabad. Before we go into further details of prevention of cervical cancer, I would just like to tell you what exactly is cervical cancer. So this is, as you see, is the whole womb, and this is the neck of the womb, which is also called cervix. So cervical cancer is caused because of human papilloma virus, which is seen in 60 to 70% of sexually active women. Over a period of time, almost 90 to 92% of the HPV vaccines, HPV virus, they get treated on their own. But there are 5 to 6% of the viruses which persist on the neck of the womb, which over a period of 10 to 15 to 20 years develop into pre-cancerous conditions and eventually lead to cervical cancer. So now we talk about prevention of cervical cancer. There are two types of HPV vaccines as of now available in the market. They are Gardasil, which has 4 strains of cervical cancer vaccines strains, and then Cervarix. So Gardasil is given, both the vaccines are given from the age of 9 to 15 years, and they are given at an interval of 0, 1 and 6 months. The advantage of Cervarix is that because it has got 4 strains, it also prevents against the genital warts which are seen in the young sexually active boys and girls. Whereas Cervarix has only 2 strains, which is preventive only against cervical cancer. Now, the other advantage of cervical cancer vaccines is, apart from preventing cervical cancer, it also prevents anal cancer, vulval cancer, vaginal cancer, oral cancer. So more and more research is going into these cancers. Initially, it was thought that the vaccines should be given only to the girls from 9 to 15 years of age, but more and more research has shown that these vaccines can be given into the ladies up to the age of 45 years. We now encourage women, especially in the when a woman is pregnant and when she comes in a postpartum period, which means after delivery, when she comes at the 6 weeks checkup, she is very much amenable to suggestions, and it is at this point of time that we take a pap smear, which is we take a small solution from the neck of the womb and send it to the lab to see whether she has any viral infections or not. And then we also encourage her to have cervical cancer vaccine, which is preventable against cervical cancer. So what are the side effects of cervical cancer vaccine? As it is, more than 80 million doses worldwide have been tested against human papilloma virus vaccine, and normally no side effects have been noted. Mild nausea, vomiting or dizziness is noted, which kind of eventually settles down within a span of 15 minutes. So the reason is, whenever we give a vaccine to a lady or a girl, we ask her to take rest for 15 minutes and then she can go home. What are the contraindications for HPV or cervical cancer vaccine is that women who are pregnant and lactating, they should not have these vaccines, or women who are sensitive to any of the ingredients of the HPV vaccine, they should not have this vaccine. The World Health Organization has made a pledge that all countries should eventually be free from cervical cancer by 2030, and India is one country because it's a developing world and we see more cervical cancers, so we need more of vaccines in this country. It's a very good news from India that recently Serum Institute of India has developed a HPV vaccine, which is a very low cost. Normally the cost of the vaccine is around 2,500 to 3,000 rupees, but the new vaccine which is going to come up in India is roughly between 200 to 400 rupees. which is going to be very affordable, and all the rural population in India can be covered with this vaccine. So this is what I want to talk about: prevention of cervical cancer.